Good morning and welcome to Trail Grazers, where we talk about and make great food for the trail and share with you our trips. And we have various modes of going on trips. We have our trailer, which is now winterized, and we won't be pulling that out again until spring. We have my truck, we have Jim's car, so we take day trips and then we take little car trips. This winter we're planning on several car trips, maybe 3 or 4. And we plan that those trips, those car trips, will be maybe 2 or 3 nights in a hotel, maybe even only 1 night. It depends on where we go, how far away it is. So we're still planning those trips. But we are now getting ready for making meals in our hotel room. The other day, Jim and I were out doing errands, and we decided just to stop in our little town that's about 25 miles away to have lunch at just a local restaurant. And it's a privately owned restaurant. It's not a chain like Dairy Queen. We sometimes will eat at Dairy Queen. And each of us had a hamburger and fries. We had an extra order of onion rings and a soft drink for each of us. And that bill came to over $50. And that was without the tip. And so it is incredible how much eating out costs these days. And so we are planning to do a lot of our meals either in our car as we travel or after we get to our hotel room in the evening. And a lot of hotels will have a complimentary breakfast. And some of those breakfasts, if you've experienced it as we have, leave a lot to be desired. And some are wonderful. And so if we stay in a motel or a hotel that we are unfamiliar with, we're not sure what that breakfast will be. And so we'll plan for breakfasts too. So I wanted to first show you the equipment that we're going to be counting on these car trips. First of all, this is a cooler, just an ice chest. And this is a very, very sturdy ice chest. It will hold ice for more than 3 days, which is just great. We can buy 1 bag of ice for our trip, or we have some of those flat, put in your freezer ice gel thingies that we can also use. It just sort of depends. But this will hold food that would need to be refrigerated. This is our electric refrigerator / freezer. The reason that I chose this brand is a Joy Tutus, and it is in our Amazon store. I don't think we put this in our Amazon store yet, Jim.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I'll double check. But this one, the reason that I selected this brand is because you can control the temperature between refrigeration and freezing. So this could be a freezer, and then this could be our refrigerator if that's what we chose to do. Then this, and we've shown this one and this one before, this is our little car oven. In fact, I'm going to move this out of the way. This is our little car oven, and it will hold 2 of our meal dishes, and we've shown that before. And so we can, and it's not as fast as a regular oven. It takes a couple of hours, but it's great for a car because we can plug it in, and this goes in a cigarette lighter. This one has both a 12-volt cigarette lighter and a wall socket that we can charge with. This one is strictly the 12-volt, the cigarette lighter. But this works great while we travel. Now, we are going to assume that our hotel will have a microwave and maybe even a refrigerator. We don't do the 5-star hotels at all. We're pretty satisfied with our road trips for 3-star hotels. And sometimes they have refrigerators and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they usually always will have a microwave. But we've got this backup just in case, and we'll know how to plan to work with that. So the types of meals that we are going to be thinking about as we imagine preparing a meal in a hotel room are those that are already pre-prepared, and all we have to do is just warm them up. I'm not going to take an electric frying pan. I'm not going to take any kind of cooking pots. I'm not going to take a hot plate. I just don't want to be bothered with anything like that. We have, with the equipment that we have and a microwave in the room, we have everything that we need, and I'm going to be planning meals accordingly. But the large prep time will come right here in our own kitchen, and we will take either frozen or refrigerated packets of food ready to go. So that's what we're going to do today, is get our steak bites that we did our previous video on how we prepared those for freeze drying. And we're going to make a little meal using those steak bites that we will then put probably in our freezer, because it's going to be way into January before we do anything. So that will be a frozen meal. And then depending on when we're going to eat it, we'll probably start it off with the freezer if it's going to be a multi-day trip. But then we'll move it into the refrigerator, the cooler, when we are wanting to thaw it for an evening meal. So we'll just make those adjustments on the fly as we go. So I'm going to clear the deck, and we're going to set up now to work with our steak bites and make a lovely meal that we can enjoy in our hotel room. Here we are all set up to go. So I'm going to turn the burner on.
There we go.
And let's get a little oil in here warming up while I talk to you about what we're going to do. So here are our steak bites that we did in our previous video, and I'm just going to pour enough in here. And notice I'm getting some crumbs, some of that good stuff that we also wanted to. Now that's probably enough. Jim, do you think this is enough for both you and me?
Yeah, easily.
Okay. And then I'm just going to put enough water, hopefully that will be totally absorbed. And we'll stir those up in a minute, maybe add more water. And then the other thing that we're going to be working with is mushrooms. And I'm going to put mushrooms in here. These are freeze-dried mushrooms. And we'll add water to them. And we can just add however much it's going to take and then drain these. And while those are rehydrating, I'm going to just do a quick stir fry of some onions. This is just one little medium onion. Those will start coming apart in just a minute. A little bit more water in the steak. It's absorbed everything. These are rehydrating very fast. When we sous vide meat, one of the important steps after it is done is to sear it and put that lovely little crust on it. Now, we did not do that before we freeze dried it. And as I've been thinking about things, I'm thinking that, I could easily have just seared that meat and then freeze dried it so it would be just ready to rehydrate and go. But I didn't on this batch, and so the way we're going to deal with that is I'm going to do these onions, and then we'll do the mushrooms, and they're done. Add them to the mix. Stir fry them. And we're going to move them to this dish. These are done. All they will need is to be reheated. Now I'm going to add a little bit more oil to the pan. Now the meat, remember, is done. It's about at the medium rare stage. So really all we're wanting is just to sear this meat. And at this point in time, we could add some Worcestershire sauce or steak sauce or any other kind of flavorings. I'm going to add salt and pepper. Put a nice little sear on this steak. And get it here. All right, the flame is off. I'm just going to move this off to the side. So that is part of our meal. Now I'm just going to take just a little taste of this steak. Oh, here's a little one. I'm just going to cut it in half. Take a little bite of it to make sure it's okay. Tender, moist, just delicious. So what is going to happen then, I will package these in a small plastic bag. I'll package this, the meat, in a baggie, and then we need a little side dish. Over on Rose Red Homestead, we recently did a video on making Hasselback potatoes, and they are so great. So I have them frozen in servings for two for Jim and me, and you can see that they're cut little razor thin, and they're flavored, and they're just delicious. They freeze fantastic, and then here is a little bit of sour cream dressing to go over the top. And so in a larger baggie, probably a gallon-sized baggie, I will pack 3 plastic bags. This one, and this one. And then that will be a hotel meal. And then we'll have fresh fruit, fresh veggies that we can also add to these meals as well. So I'm going to let this cool and package it up, and then I will bring you back and show you what the final package looks like. The food is cooled and bagged. These are still frozen and they're ready to go into this bag. Now I've labeled this bag Steak Bites with Hasselback Potatoes. So we're just going to slip everything in, and this becomes a meal bag. And then I get as much of the air out as I possibly can. And what a nice size this is for a meal for the two of us. Now, the other thing that I want to mention is that I'm going to be preparing a kitchen box. Everything that I might need in terms of utensils or containers in order to prepare these meals. It will also have paper plates, sturdy paper plates, and probably plastic implements, plastic silverware so that everything is disposable. So I'm not having to do dishes per se, that we can just heat and eat and toss. So that's what my goal is. Now, when I get that kitchen box all ready to go, I will we'll have another video and I'll show you. I'm also going to have a basic refrigerator box of things, or a refrigerator pack that I'm going to keep in the ice chest that will have basic refrigerated things that we may need for specific meals. And it will vary from trip to trip depending on what the requirements are. Now, this really links very closely to what we're doing over on Rose Red Homestead. We are preparing for 60 days of emergency meals, 2 months worth of meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or whatever meals your family eats in a day. And we are integrating our freezer, our refrigerator, and our pantry in the preparation of those meals. We have a new book coming out for Jim's birthday book sale that will start 2 days after Christmas on his birthday, and it is all about the 60 days, prepping for 60 days of meals. And in that book, there are lots of meals like this, very similar to this, only usually it is just an entree with the sides being in a separate bin out in our freezer. But I'll be able to go out there and pull from different bins frozen things. It is especially designed for people who may not have a freeze dryer or a dehydrator. And so these are recipes, many of them that I just got out on the internet, and I provide links so that people can print out those recipes, download them themselves. Some of the recipes in that book are mine, but many of them would work very well for hotel room meals. And we'll be having another video where I pull some of those meals and just show you. It won't be the prepping of the meals because the prepping has already been done, but I'll show you how I can put together things from our freezer, refrigerator, and pantry. Our pantry, of course, includes home canning and freeze drying. So this is how we will do our steak bites. One way we'll do our steak bites. So this right now is going into the freezer and will be one of the meals that we take with us on our very first trip. So thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you out there on the road, on the trail very soon.